Pa-O Calendar, 2017, A Sweet Potato Story. The Little Sweet Potato. Long ago, in a beautiful land of mountains, forests, farms and small villages, the Pa-O people lived close to Thailand. They grew their own food, they cared for their farms, they shared food with their families, neighbors, and guests. One of the foods they grew was the sweet potato. In Pa-O we call it Nui Di. The sweet potato was not only food, it was also a part of village life. It grew in the earth, people planted it, cared for it, harvested it, cooked it, ate it, and sometimes offered it during traditional ceremonies. But to one little child, the sweet potato was something that was always there. Moe Moe's lunchbox. For me, Moe Moe's lunchbox became one of those sweet childhood memories. When I was a little child in primary school, my mother often put fried sweet potatoes in my lunchbox. Sometimes she put whole boiled sweet potatoes in my Pa-O large sling bag. "Take some for your friends," my mother would say. So I took them to school. I shared them with my friends. Sometimes I even shared them with my teacher. At that time I did not think very much about the sweet potato. Why would I? It was always in our home. After school I would wash, eat dinner, and sit down with a cup of warm tea and sweet potato. Sometimes we mixed it with a little oil and salt in a small bowl. Sometimes we dipped it in sugar. We sat around a table and watched television. Sometimes the neighbors came over and ate with us. Everyone was happy to visit their relatives at home. On Saturdays and Sundays, I sometimes carried cut sweet potato vines in a small basket to the yard. He even made a smaller basket especially for me. My brother and father carried the plants when there were many. I wanted to carry something too. I loved carrying the basket. But I did not always want to help with the planting. I was a little mischievous. If my father and brother had already carried everything away, I would become upset, because there was nothing left for me to carry. Looking back now, I can laugh about it. I did not understand then that farming was hard work. I only knew that sweet potatoes was something delicious that appeared at home. There was more than food in Nui Di. As I grew older, I began to understand that a sweet potato does not simply appear on a plate. Someone prepares the soil, someone plants, someone cares for the plants, someone harvests them. Then someone washes them, boils them, fries them, or cooks them into a dish. The sweet potato carries the work of many hands. For many Pa-O families in the lowland areas, which we call Kam Dome, sweet potato farming has long been part of their livelihood. We can even find the sweet potato in the Pa-O alphabet song. In this way, a simple word from the alphabet can become part of a complete sentence, and part of real social life. That is why food can also tell us a story about people. The tea hills. In the highland areas, another important crop has long been part of Pa-O life, tea. Warm tea can sit beside a family meal. Farmers can take tea with them when they go to the fields. During rice planting seasons, people work together and prepare food and tea for the workers. After the rice harvest, families may also make an offering to the rice field guardian spirit. Dried tea leaves can be included as part of the offering. Tea also has an important place in traditional marriage ceremonies. A Pa-O wedding is traditionally connected with a ceremony of joining hands and tying together. In this way, one small leaf can be connected to farming, family, marriage, food, and community. Before Tong Kyoat. Before the festival, families began to prepare. During the week before the full moon, people cleaned the roads, the grass, and the areas around their homes. Families also saved some of their sweet potatoes instead of selling everything. Some families might save more. Some might save less, depending on the size of the family. The food grown in the field would soon become part of the festival at home. The day before the full moon. On the day before the full moon, the Phang Dao U Buddha image was carried in procession through the village. People followed the procession, and communal food was prepared for them. The village became busy and lively. Children were happy to walk along with the procession and the many people who had gathered. They knew that something special was coming. On the full moon night, the village became bright and beautiful. The young leader of the unmarried men, called Ko Ban Tong, gave the signal. The drum and gong sounds told people that it was time to gather. In Pa-O, the drum sound and the announcement used to call people together are remembered in the expressions Doom Toon and Kok Lan Biao. Kok Lan Biao means that the young leader of the unmarried men makes an announcement to gather the people. People carried lights and offerings and walked together toward the monastery. The people carrying the traditional lights were part of a beautiful night procession. They went around the monastery 3 complete rounds. After that, everyone gathered and listened to the Dhamma. The children watched the lights, the people, and the beautiful night. Some children were so excited that they did not want to sleep. The 4 o'clock offering in Pa-O tradition. The night was not over yet. While the village was quiet, mothers, sisters, and other family members were already preparing food. At about 4 o'clock in the morning, it was time to prepare the Mai Tin Kwa. The traditional offering cup was made from a banana stem. Food was placed inside it. It could contain a handful of rice, pieces of fried noodles, snacks, a ripe banana, sweet potato, fried foods, and pieces of fruit. A candle was lit beside the offering cup. The offering was prepared and placed with prayers. The sweet potato, which had grown in the earth, had now become part of a sacred morning tradition. During Tongkuat, families also visited their parents, relatives, and elders. They went from one house to another. They placed their offerings on a tray. There could be a cup of rice, a handful of dried tea leaves, a betel nut, a candle, 4 or 5 onions, some snacks, and pieces of cloth for the elders. Someone might carry the tray on their head while walking to the next home. When children and grandchildren came to pay respect, the grandparents welcomed them warmly. They offered tea, betel, traditional snacks, steamed foods, sticky rice treats, and sometimes pocket money for the children. The children bowed, received their little gifts, ate snacks, and smiled. The adults sat with the grandparents talking, laughing, and sharing blessings for the whole family, for the grandparents, their children, and their grandchildren. They wished for good harvests of rice and beans, enough to keep for the year ahead, and plenty to share. After paying their respects and offering their blessings, they prepared to continue to the next house. During this season, homes were filled with traditional food. There could be sticky rice crackers, Pa-O gruel, steamed sticky rice cakes, steamed spring onion, semolina cakes, Pa-O fried glutinous sticky rice, and many kinds of rice crackers. Grandparents prepared these foods for their children and grandchildren. And of course, there was often boiled sweet potato. Do they have to eat this all the time? Some children might think. They would rather choose candy or other sweet snacks. They did not know its value yet. The festival did not end with the morning offering. The following night, people gathered again at the monastery. There were singers and musicians. Young people waited for their turn to perform. Grandparents sat and watched their children and grandchildren. Children watched too, even when they became tired and sleepy. Sometimes a child might fall asleep in the middle of the festival. But the music, the moonlight, the lights, and the voices of the people remained in the child's memory. The elders told stories about the old ways of life. In Pa-O traditional understanding, beliefs about spirits and guardians were connected with homes, fields, farms, forests, and mountains. These memories belong to an older layer of Pa-O cultural life, remembered from a time before later religious and cultural influences became part of village life. Over time, different religious and cultural practices became part of village life too. Traditions can change, grow, and take new forms, but people can still remember where they came from. The little sweet potato carries many stories. One evening, a child looked at a sweet potato and asked her mother, "Why is this little thing so important?" Mother smiled. "Because it carries many stories," she said. "What stories?" "The story of the soil, the story of the farmer, the story of our family, the story of our village. And it can tell you about our food, our festivals, our traditions, and even our language." The child looked at the sweet potato again. It suddenly seemed much bigger than before. A message from the Pa-O young leader, when the world is getting bigger. As children grow, their world becomes bigger. They meet people from other places. They hear new languages. They learn new ideas. This is a good thing. We should learn about the world. We should learn international English. We should listen, speak, read, ask questions, and search for answers. But learning something new does not mean that we must forget what we already have. A child can learn English and still love Pa-O. A child can travel to another country and still remember home. A child can meet new people without throwing away the good values learned from grandparents. Do not forget the good things. The world will continue to change. Children will see many new things. Some things may not be. So they need to learn how to think. They need to ask, is this good? Is this helpful? Is this kind? Is this true? They need to learn how to choose. And they need to remember. Remember the people who cared for them. Remember the hands that grew the food. Remember the grandparents who told the stories. Remember the language that first taught them to call their mother. Remember the good things. Then the child held the sweet potato in both hands. My mother, the child said, when I grow up, will I remember this? Moe Moe smiled. If you keep asking questions, keep learning, and keep remembering, you will. And if you teach someone else, the story will travel even farther. The child smiled. Tomorrow the child would learn new English words. The child would read a new story. The child would listen to new voices. The child would meet new people. But tonight, the child knew one thing. Growing up does not mean leaving everything behind. We can carry our roots with us. Just like a little sweet potato carried from the field to the family table. A sweet potato grows quietly under the earth. We cannot see its growth every day. But one day, someone digs into the soil and finds something valuable. Culture can be like that too. It may grow quietly inside families. It may live in a word, a song, a meal, a cup of tea, a festival, a story, or a child's memory. If we forget it, it can become difficult to find. If we learn it, use it, teach it, and share it, the story can continue. Of Strong Pa-O Calendar 2717 is not only a story about a sweet potato. It is a story about remembering. It is a story about learning. It is a story about growing. This is Strong, a story of a Pa-O child, a sweet potato, family, tradition, language, and the things we should never forget. Strong, a message from the storyteller, Nang. And perhaps one day, a child who reads this story will plant a sweet potato, learn a new language, travel to a new place, and still remember the little village that taught them how to care, share, think, and remember. Learn the world. Love your roots, think carefully, choose what is good, share what you know, and never be ashamed of the language and culture that helped you become who you are.